Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Monica if you're new here. If you are not into big weddings and you need a small wedding inspo, or you just want to hear my wedding story and you're getting married or not, this video is for you. I feel like more and more people these days are choosing to have a smaller, more intimate wedding rather than having a big, expensive production of a wedding. So I wanted to make a quick video about what I did for my wedding and give you some small wedding inspo. So I'm going to explain what I did, where I had it, what planning was involved, and what I paid for. I really wanted something different, something small and intimate, and most importantly, something that did not inconvenience me or my guest too much. It turned out to be exactly what we wanted it to be. Everyone had such a good time. We got so many compliments on how nice and different it was, how good the food was, and if I had $1 for every time somebody was like, I wish I had just done something small like you did, or I want to do something similar to what you did, it probably could have paid for everything. I love that people loved it, and I promise it can be just as amazing or better than having a big wedding. Anyways, let's get into it. So I always knew that I didn't want to have a big wedding. It just wasn't really my thing. My solution to that was having sort of a wedding dinner. So if I was gonna have a wedding dinner, I knew I needed to have it at a good place. So basically what I did was I reserved one of the private rooms at one of the more fancy, popular restaurants here in Tampa. And it might sound kind of weird getting married at a restaurant, but when you're in the private room and you're doing all the wedding stuff and celebrating, you don't really feel like you're in a restaurant. You feel kind of like you're in your own space. So we reserved their biggest private room and it fit 40 people. And to be honest, I didn't even really need the 40 people. I could have done with less. So we reserved that room and then basically we did everything in that room. I did hire a wedding planner, but I'm pretty sure you could do this and get away with not getting one. Maybe a family member or close friend can kind of help you coordinate that day. So I hired the wedding planner and basically what she did was she decorated the room, brought the centerpieces, table linens. She had that box where the cards go in. She set up the table where our cake was, and then any other decorations that we needed. The room was already decorated a little bit because it was Christmas time, and so there was like garland and Christmas lights, and I loved that because I love Christmas. So I was really excited there was already like Christmas lights and stuff. So she decorated the room, she was there coordinating the day of, and then she was also the officiant. There really wasn't a ton of decorating or coordinating needed, but it was a really good security blanket to have day of to make sure everything just went smoothly. And I really didn't want to have to worry about anything that day. So I want to go over how the room was set up so that it kind of makes sense. So basically the tables were set up into two long tables with a walkway or an aisle in between the two tables because that's what I was going to walk in through. At the front of the room, she covered the wall with a white curtain because that was going to be the backdrop of like where we stood and actually got married. So there was the white curtain, and then in one of the corners there was a little table with like a gold linen on it, and that had our cake on it. The room already had a little bar countertop area where the servers would usually keep their stuff, but we used that as like a little station where people signed the guest book, they could drop off their cards, and then we placed the little wedding favors there, which were mini champagne bottles with little tags on them with our name. They were actually so cute. Highly recommend doing little mini champagne bottles. And other than that, it was just like decorations. So once all the guests arrived and they were all sitting in their spots, because we also had name tags, which I highly recommend. But once they were all settled, the wedding planner let us know that it was time to come out. So me and my dad walked in through the little aisle that we made in between the two tables. My parents and my sister stood on my side, his family stood on his side, and basically we got married right there. We had our little ceremony. I told her to keep the ceremony kind of short and sweet because my patience. I feel like those can get a little long unnecessarily. So we kind of had like a really basic one. I just told her like a couple things that I definitely wanted included. By the way, sorry if you see some little white spots on my head. My forehead is peeling right here. I don't know why. So we had our ceremony, and then when we were done, me and my husband walked out of the room. We took some pictures outside of the room, and then while we were outside taking pictures, I don't know if it was the officiant or the servers, but they just brought in a table, put it right in front of the white curtain where we just had our ceremony, and that was the bride and groom table. So they just brought it in and decorated it really quickly while we were outside taking pictures. When the table was ready, we walked back in, sat down at our little bride and groom table, and it was really chill from that point on. First, we did some toasts and speeches. It wasn't like planned or anything. Basically, whoever felt in the moment that they wanted to speak could. I would never want to force anyone to give a speech or speak in front of people. I know personally that that would give me so much anxiety. While we were doing our toasts and speeches, they started bringing out our preset appetizers. It was a family style dinner with preset selections. So they basically went around and got everybody's main course choice. And then they just brought out sides that we had already selected. By the way, everyone had their own menu and name tag at their seat. And our menus had like a picture of us, our name, and the date. So they were really cute. We had, I think, 4 or 5 servers serving us. So they were serving us just like they would a regular table, but they were just constantly filling up our wine, bringing out more sides if needed, and just making sure everyone was okay. I think I forgot to mention this, but it just popped into my head. But we did like walk around and say hi to the guests and everything before we ate. So after everyone finished their main courses, they started bringing dessert out, and then we cut our cake, took pictures with people, and just mingled. We also had a little impromptu first dance, which was unexpected and made me nervous, but I'm glad we did it. Those rooms are typically set up to connect to devices, so that is how we played music. We just had a playlist ready, which was nice because at the beginning we played like slow songs, and then later on we played like more upbeat music, so it kind of like went with the schedule. So yeah, we just spent the rest of the time drinking, mingling, taking pictures, trying to make sure that I got pictures with everyone, and just hanging out. We had the room for I think 3.5 or 4 hours, which is like my attention span limit on things anyways. And once that time approached, we kind of just wrapped it up. It was over in just a few hours, so it was basically like people just went out for a long dinner. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't taking up too much of people's time because I did not want people waiting an hour for a ceremony to start. I did not want them to have to wait a cocktail hour for the reception to start. And I just didn't want a big production where I would have to walk down an aisle and do all of like the traditional stuff. I just really wanted something different, small, and minimal. So yeah, no complaints other than I really didn't even need the 40 people. I could have did like 25 and had more space because we were like at capacity and we could have used a little more space. So as far as planning goes, it was really minimal. I'm telling you, I wanted this to be as stress-free as possible. So the first thing we did was hire the wedding planner. Her info was given to us from a friend whose wedding I had just attended, and it was really nice, so I trusted it. So we just met with her once, maybe twice, and told her what I wanted to do, which what I wanted to do was probably like the easiest thing she's done. We told her what we wanted as far as decorations went, what colors we wanted to use, but really nothing too crazy. And then we also went to the restaurant to meet with the large party coordinator, and we went over what we wanted to have on the menu, how we wanted the tables arranged, and then what drinks we wanted to serve. And we had it at one of the best restaurants in Tampa, so I was not worried about that at all. I already knew that people were gonna love the food. So what did we pay for? The things that we paid for were the wedding planner. She charged us one fee for like being the officiant, decorating, and just coordinating the day up. So the wedding planner cost ended up being like $1,500. For the restaurant room, there was no cost to reserve it. There was just a minimum spend, which I think was like $5,000. So we paid for all the food and then the drinks that we provided, which we only provided white or red wine and champagne. If anybody wanted something else, they could just go to the bar, and then some people also went to the bar to do like shots and stuff. I would not have done this if I could not pay for the entire bill of food and beverages. I definitely do not recommend making guests pay for their own food, just as it would be for any other wedding. And I think the food bill wound up being like $5,000 or $6,000. And then we also paid for the photographer, which she was my friend, so I wanted her to be at my wedding anyways, but I think we paid her like $500. So even though it's not a whole big thing, at the end of the day, you're still getting married, which is the whole point and the most important thing. You're still getting the feels of a wedding and a celebration. You can still get beautiful pictures, and you're getting to be with your closest family and friends. Because let's be honest, you can invite 100, 200 people to your wedding, but there's most likely only a small fraction of those people who actually appreciate being there and really want to be there. And I'm not spending all of this money and putting on this whole big thing for people who actually don't even really care to be there, or people who I'm not even that close to. I don't care who it is, friends, family. I want to spend my wedding day with people who actually want to be there and who I talk to and see on a regular basis, not people who I only communicate with once in a while. I got way off track there, but yeah, you still get all of the great takeaways ways of a wedding, but it's way less money and way less hassle. So yeah, like I said, I just wanted to be with my closest family and friends and have most of the aspects of a regular wedding, but not cause too much hassle for myself and for anyone else. And it turned out to be exactly what I wanted. Everyone had a really nice time. It's so worth it to do something small. So that is it for this video. If you have any questions about the wedding or anything else, just leave a comment down below and I'll answer it for you. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I will see you in my next video.